Now, for the bank account, what you will need is first you will need a copy, a set of certified true copies of your documents. What is that? Is all the documents you have filled in for your company, you will need to have a copies of that. So NNC1, your BR, and your CI. Okay, as the things I mentioned before. And then the other thing that sounds a bit silly, but I see so many people that tells me, oh, the bank account is so difficult. You can see all around on the forums on the internet, it's like, oh, it's so difficult to open a bank account in Hong Kong. Well, so far we had 3 people that didn't get a bank account with us. One was a drug dealer. I didn't know. He didn't approach me and say, hey, I deal some drugs. Can you help me to make my transaction and so on. I didn't know. I discovered afterwards. But apparently I had a drug dealer profile that the bank just screened and said, like, no way. They see the stamp, Dominican Republic, Brazil, Colombia, Hong Kong, So, and then he was also blacklisted because of his nationality. So take care, there's nationalities that the bank doesn't like. In this case, it was Turkish. Do I have Turkish here? If you are, imagine we have a Turkish here. If you are a Hong Kong resident, it actually helps. But people that would come directly from Turkey, for example, we had a case from Egypt. That's the second case that didn't get it. It was purely based on his nationality. I mean, his business plan was really good. The guy was super presentable. Everything was all right. I thought it would go like really smooth with the bank. It was rejected, and the reason was purely based on his nationality. But he was not Hong Kong resident. Okay, so it was an Egyptian coming here to set up the company. So this is the second case. And the third case was an Australian, so good nationality. I mean, I'm not judging the nationalities, but for the bank, fine nationality. But there the problem was that he was setting up a a crowdfunding platform for charities, and it was a startup, so he had nothing to show. So basically what the bank here is like, charity is a way to do money laundering. Crowdfunding is a way to do money laundering. Startup, that means you have nothing to show me that actually all this is working, So they just refused the guy straight away. Okay, so this is my 3 cases that didn't work. We had a 4th case, if I want to be totally honest, but this is because the guys in HSBC are mainly juniors, and the guy is Canadian. He has really good business track record and so on. He came to Hong Kong, and then they lost his application somewhere. So that's the 4th case, and we keep calling to try to say, hey, what can we do? It's 6 months now, we can't get the bank account. But this honestly doesn't happen often, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you here is that if you get yourself prepared, it's not such a big deal. You need to know a bit the tricks, but it is not really that difficult. But the problem is like most of people come totally unprepared, short flip-flop. Yeah, it's opening a bank account, I'm the clients here, Well, that's not the way it works in Hong Kong. Now, it's much easier for a resident, by the way. So if you're a Hong Kong resident, it's like, I open a...
temporary or permanent?
Well, resident, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to be permanent resident. So if you have a working visa, for example, that's okay. Like I just set up a new company recently working with cosmetics. That's why I was thinking of Sexy Lips as a name, I guess. Don't laugh, it's difficult. I have to remain concentrated here. What I'm saying. Yeah, I just set up a new business, and I got the bank account in 10 days. So for residents, it's so fast. When actually for foreigners, foreigners living abroad, it may take quite a while. Like 4 or 5 weeks is common, actually.
What happens if your work visa is with another company and you're applying for your own business? Because you're meant to be sponsored by that company.
Okay, it's no problem with the government. It's no problem with the IRD. Okay, with the Inland Revenue Department, is not a problem with the company registry. It is not a problem with the bank. Now, it is a problem with the immigration. Okay, so if you are working now in Hong Kong, you have a visa, you are sponsored by a company, you are allowed to set up a company, you are allowed to be shareholder of a company in Hong Kong. Okay, but you are sponsored by a company, right? So you are not supposed to do any other work. So what you have to do normally, like the right way to do it, is you have to ask permission to both your employer and to the government and say, look, can I open a company in Hong Kong? Do you mind? Now, if you work in recruitment and you open a recruitment agency, most likely your boss will not like it too much. But if it's something completely different, you know, sometimes it's not a problem. Okay.
So if you leave the country after setting up a company here,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have a PR,
Mm-hmm.
comes the expiry of your time in Hong Kong, and you go back to your home country.
Yeah.
What happens to that company that you set up?
Well, she keeps running.
It does keep running.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you leave yourself.
No, so you don't have to be in Hong Kong to have a company. You don't need to be a Hong Kong resident. You can be abroad, no problem. Yeah, you can operate from abroad, no problem. As a matter of fact, most of my clients are not in Hong Kong. They live, I mean, many lives in Thailand, and then they have the business here and they sell in Europe or US. Yeah, that's really, that's a common profile that I have here. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Just a question, like, certified by who, and where's the best place to get them certified?
Certified by whom? The certified, oh sorry. The certified through copy is certified by a CPA. So CPA is a certified public accountant, okay? Now, not all of them can sign, by the way. So it has to be a CPA that can sign. But if you go through a consultant, and that's my advice to you, not because I'm a consultant, it's my business, so I'm trying to promote it, but because it's the smart thing to do. I will explain you why afterwards. They will provide you with that, okay? And prepare yourself basically is like, I will give you a few tips here really quickly. So get prepared, don't get there thinking it's easy. If you get prepared, it will be easy. If you think it will be easy, it will be a nightmare, okay? So, company maintenance. Yeah, it's not because it's Bruce Lee that it will be complicated or a fight or whatever. I just decided to put some images of Hong Kong with it because I thought that we'll have a lot of people that are not from Hong Kong. It will be like nice touch. But apparently most of you are from here, so yeah. So the picture are not related to the topics actually. It's just all from Hong Kong. So company maintenance, what you have to do to maintain your company. So number one, as I said before, you need the company secretary. Okay, so who's that guy? Or that girl? Sorry, Cathy. She works in my company. She does all the company secretary for all the clients. So basically what Cathy does every day is like she does some filing for our clients. So she will fill in annual return for you. So annual return has nothing to do with your accounting. I know that the terminology is a little bit tricky because people often think like, oh, annual return is like how much money I make. Nothing to do. The annual return is like, is there any change in your company in terms of address, director, shareholder, share capital, any transfer you have made, you know? That's the kind of things you talk about. Did you change company secretary? This is what you mentioned in your annual return. Nothing to do with your profit, your loss, whatever, okay? That's separate. Other thing you have to do with the company secretary is like you're supposed to have a general annual meeting, okay? So basically, it will most likely be a coffee between you and Cathy, okay, where where she will make you sign a few documents, and that's about it. And yeah, so that's what she does for the company secretary. Now, other requirements, you need to keep your registered address. So you cannot just have a registered address and after 1 year say, oh, I don't take the service anymore. So now you have to keep one. Now it's fairly cheap. The registered address is generally around 1,000 to, I think it's what, $3,000 a year? Is it? I sleep already, it's late. Hey, Win, how much is the registered address here every year? The registered address. Virtual office. Sorry? 250. So 250 times 12, okay, which is around 3,000, isn't it? Yeah. So so registered address around 1,000 to 3,000 more or less. Then we have the annual return, which I already mentioned. So you have to send it. So you will tell me, hey, what if I have no change in the company? It's still the same as when I set it up. You know, we changed nothing. Well, you still have to send the annual return saying that nothing changed. Okay. Then you have to repay again your BR, as we said before, so business registration. And this is, just to remind you, 2,250. So it's the same amount, and you have to pay it every year. Okay, so this is what you have to do for company maintenance every year. Yeah.
That all annual
Oh, yeah, we can do it electronically. Yeah. Now, if you work with us, for example, we do all that for you. We just don't even know what's going on. We just make it. Because the company secretary has the right to sign your annual return for you, you know, pay the business registration. So basically on this, you know, if you work with a good ComSec, everything will be done for you. You will not even know it. We'll just send you an email and say, hey, here's your new BR. Thank you, Cathy. You're welcome. That's it. Anything else there? No? So after that, as I said, we have the accounting audit, and I kept the tax for later. So let's just keep the accounting audit first. So accounting audit, what we have there is like every year you have to do your bookkeeping accounting, okay? So you just enter all your revenues or your expenses, etc. So that's your accounting. Then after that, this accounting has to be reviewed by an auditor. So the auditor will just check on your accountant, make sure that he made a good job, okay? It has to be two different people, obviously, because you cannot check by yourself what you have done. If not, it's not really a second tier. And then you need a tax representative, okay? So you need somebody that will actually be your tax representative that will just inform the government of how much money you have made, etc. And so that the government can estimate how much tax you have to pay. Yeah, because it's Hong Kong, there's still some tax. Eh? It's not 0%. I know there's the offshore tax exemption, which I don't advise you to apply for. But yeah, most of the company, I would say, will pay the tax here, 16.5. Other things, has nothing to do with Hong Kong in general, but if you work with us, actually, we can do these services as well, of accounting, audit, and tax representation. And we are also zero partner and zero certified, so we can help you to get all your accounting clean, nice, and tidy in a software. And we don't charge for it, actually. So, I mean, we charge you the cost of zero, but we don't charge you consulting for it. We don't have a setup cost or something, which is quite sweet. Then now, tax. Oh, anything else about what we had before? Any question? Accounting, audit, no question?
What are the general costs of that, or the annual?
I will talk about it just after, yeah. Now, tax in Hong Kong. Tax on sales, or VAT. Somebody knows? Zero. Okay. Corporate tax. 16.5. Dividend, tax on dividend. 0. Individual tax on salary. 15. Huh?
Maximum.
15 max, yeah. So how it works is that on the first $120,000 for the salary, you don't get tax. So if you already work now, you know that. So your first $120,000, they are tax-free. On the next 40K, you pay 2% tax. On the next 40K, you pay 7% tax. On the next 40, you pay 12% tax. And then on the rest, you pay 17% until you reach an average of 15%. Then you don't pay any more than 15, okay? Now, what that means in terms of business, you know, is that means it's a good idea to give yourself a salary. How much exactly? Well, if you give yourself 240,000, that means you're still under the 16.5%, right? And that means if you make the whole average things here, you will pay you will pay exactly 3.5% tax on these $240,000. So every year it's a good idea to give yourself 240,000. Unless you already have a job, by the way, because it's not 240,000 per company, it's like personally. So this tax is paid by you as an individual. So if you earn less than 240, you just pay 3.5% tax in Hong Kong. So how to use this whole tax structure? Can you hold that for me? No, I'm kidding. Well.